basically, academic language can be quite complicated. It can be really quite daunting actually for students. And sometimes students will think, I need to write like that. If I'm going to get good grades, I need to use those fancy, complicated words. But actually, most of the time that's not true. And some students who try to use those long, complicated words don't use them quite right because they don't quite understand those terms. And that's worse than not using them at all. My advice is only ever use words you know what they mean. And in this video, I'm going to give you some really helpful words that will help make sure your work flows, it is in the right kind of academic tone, and it encourages analysis, evaluation, critical thinking, all of that stuff that gets you those high grades. Now, at the end of this video, I've put a link. So don't worry, you don't have to remember all of it. You can actually print it out or save it to your desktop or whatever you want. Ultimately, improving your academic language can be the difference between a pass and a fail, a merit and a distinction, a first or a 2-1, whatever your grading system is. It can make that difference. And it's something that you learn and it tends to stick with you. So I strongly recommend when you are usually at the beginning of your course, but it's never too late really, that you do work on your academic writing because it is such an integral part of studying an academic course, and it's really important that you do master this really. So here are some helpful terms. Let's get on with it. Enough of me talking, let's do it. So let's start off by thinking about language that we might use at the beginning of our work. As you develop an argument, you'll need to move from point to point and from paragraph to paragraph. In order to do this, you can use linking phrases. These serve as signposts to help the reader follow your line of argument. The following phrases are useful methods of signposting, and also they help the reader to see who is providing the argument. This report or assignment will discuss. In order to answer this question, it is necessary to look at or discuss. This report will focus on. In order to answer this question, it is necessary to define. Now let's have a look at some key academic language that we might use in the main body of our work. This helps it flow better, and as I said, it helps to encourage that higher level thinking and evaluation, critical analysis, etc. Furthermore, another aspect of this argument or discussion is, in the same way, Jones argues that. A similar example is, it could also be argued or suggested or proposed or said that. To develop this argument further, having considered A, it's important or necessary or useful to also consider B. Another aspect to consider is, an alternative view is put forward for Smith, who states that. On the other hand, Glassman argues that. On the other hand, it is argued that. In contrast, alternatively. Using phrases like these will naturally encourage you to be critical and to look at a range of sources, which are two really important aspects when you are doing your academic writing. And then there is language that we will use at the end of our work. The conclusion is the last part, other than your reference list or your bibliography, that the person who's marking your work will read. Therefore, you want to use this opportunity to emphasise the value of your work and why it deserves that good grade. Here are some phrases you might want to use. In summary, as this essay has argued. In conclusion, therefore. Finally, to conclude, it is suggested that. Now, academic writing, as I said at the beginning, it doesn't have to be hard. And I do actually have a few videos that can help you. And like I said, master it at the beginning, but it's never too late to learn. And you're automatically going to do better because usually there are a certain amount of grades awarded for your writing. And some of these bits we've talked about today will naturally help to encourage that higher level work, which is going to get you those higher grades. So here are some videos. Watch these next.